Hello, can you hear me, Tony?
I hear you fine.
Okay. This is Lee Six on iHub. I'm talking to Tony Miller, CEO of USEI. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing very well. And yourself?
Good, man. It's good. Appreciate you doing this. I mean, you're pretty transparent for a CEO to come out and, people want to know what's going on. So you're easily available anytime I call you. You want to, you'll let us know what's happening. So just want to get straight into it. A lot of people are talking about some coin and what's going on with that. Do you have it? What's it worth right now? How much do you have? So you can go into that.
So, yeah, some coin. We do have some coin. I'm not going to get into the valuations of it. Obviously, it changes price every 20 minutes. We do have a significant amount, and I'm not going to get into what it is. I think over time, I will delineate that, and everybody will get a better understanding about it. But it is a significant amount, no doubt, that the company does have in that regard. I want to make a case here too for you guys who are listening that Lee and I have done this a couple of times before, 3 or 4 times, and I do want you guys to know that I've given them latitude to answer any questions that I can't answer. I'm not going to answer the ones that I can are not allowed or not from regulatory reasons as well. But there is no limitation on the question. So that's kind of how we've done this before, and I'm going to do it again that way. So yeah, some coin is a significant part of the business model going forward, no doubt, and it is a significant asset for the firm.
Okay, great. Let's talk about. I know I was going to ask you about the extraction machines. I know you did purchase the MRX CO2 extraction machine.
Right.
Do you still have that? Is that still producing?
Still have it. It's still part of the company. Here's what the problem, and I'm gonna be quite blunt with CO2 extraction. It was hot for a moment, and it's not. There's other technologies, especially with ethanol extraction and volatile extractions, that are much more faster and much more cheaper, and that's where the issue with the extraction unit is that the volume and the potential is not as prolific as the other methodologies that have come into play, subsequent to us buying the one that we did. You're talking about, other technologies out there can produce that in 15 minutes what we can do in a day. So that's where the issue has always been with the technology. It is something, and it works phenomenally well. It makes a super, super, super clean product, but from a production standpoint, it's always been problematic because ethanol, which is an alcoholic process, and some of the volatile, which is a gas process, they are just so much faster, and that's always been a challenge we've had with that. We started marijuana in 2014 or so. We had 2 dispensaries, and we had to close them because of the lottery system. We had 4 balls in there, and we didn't get that. And we moved into investing in MRX, and we invested in the technology of MRX, and we ended up acquiring MRX, and we learned how to grow. We did a lot of things in the cannabis sector. I think right now for us, the issues with cannabis are multiple from the side of regulatory. Now, if you're in the black market, everything's beautiful, but regulatory, man, it's a tough market to be in, to be honest with you, because the profit margins are so small. For example, if you have a dispensary, your net revenue is about 15%. People think it's a glamorous thing that, hey, I own a dispensary. The margins are just tiny. You have to have multiple in order to make it. It's just, if you stay in the black market, yeah, you're making profit. You get out of the black market, you're not making any money. And that's why I've always not mentioned about us doing anything in the black market, because number one, it's not legal, but number two, that's the only way you're going to make money, unfortunately, in this sector.
Okay, all right. We'll go to now. What's going on with USCI getting current? What can you tell us?
So over this weekend, our CP and I are going to finish up the financials that are delinquent. Okay, and let me parenthetically throw something in here, Lee, before we get into that whole concept that this was purposely done. that we have parked a lot of this stuff on the sidelines for this long. We took in some toxic financing that was a transaction that happened like in 2014 that just gave us grief for the last few years, where the company couldn't. I put out press, stock goes down. I do anything, the stock goes down. It was like, because the toxicity of the finance that we did. We needed the money, but it's a problem to everybody in the sector, everybody in the public market. You get money, but sometimes over time it does not. At the time we took it, it was not a big deal, but then when interest and all the crap, it just did not give the stock a chance to breathe. And that's why you see now that the stock is having some positive, mobility, because, the folks who had, a significant amount were all blown out. So now moving forward, when we do positive activities, the stock should have some air to breathe in and not being so suppressed by the overhang. So that's that. Your question was, again, I'm sorry, I jumped on the parenthetic thought, but
just getting current.
Current. Okay, so the CPA and I are working over the course between now and probably Monday, maybe Tuesday. We will post the missing quarters, a requirement for OTC markets. The process is this. Okay. So we have to pay the Secretary of State of Nevada. We have to pay OTC markets. The way it works, they allow you to pay $1,000 down first. It allows you to post those missing financials. And then we have to pay the $500 to the attorney to prepare us a legal opinion. And then we submit that to OTC markets. So on the other firm that we own as well, we did this stuff. And honestly, it sat on someone's desk for 2 weeks at OTC markets. And then I called again, and then they made me amend something. And I called again and made me amend something. So the timing is hard to predict when they'll do. Typically, when we file those first ones, we may get a triangle. And within like the first 4 or 5 days after we file those financials. But when it becomes fully current pink, I can't tell you when, because, OTC markets are slow as hell. And I don't mind saying it because it's a fact. And it could be weeks after we submit those original filings. But it is in that process of moving forward, and we'll be, current with all the regulatory agencies. And that's what the goal is. I've said this for a long time. I said it would be for the end of March. I said before the end of the first quarter. I've moved it all up because of all the interest that's happened. And but yeah, we will more than likely before the end of the month get to at least the triangle.
Wow, that's great news. That is great news. So where are you looking to take USEI? I mean, what's the big picture?
So, there's a big plan. And part of it, I really can't tell you about it. I can just say that if you look at companies that are in the crypto space and how they've been able to integrate stock and crypto, and the companies that are in that sector, and how prolific their stocks have performed and how their asset base has performed, I think there's some elements that we want to somehow find and navigate that space. I am not going to tell you how we're going to do it. But I do know that our plan that we have is coordinated with multiple companies, and we own 2 public companies, possibly 3 by this time next week.
Wow.
So I think it's important that we have a global plan that's big. Again, we don't have big financial, debt. We don't have a big financial need. So we're able to navigate and be nimble and move and get things done, better. I think that in the end of the day, I think that this year, obviously not having downward pressure on the stock, I think that it should do well this year as we do good work. And that's what we're hoping, that it has a corresponding response to what we think is going to be some phenomenal work for this year.
Great. So some other questions people have had. What's going on with the dividends?
Okay, so here's the thing. So, we did these 2 dividends in the past, and people said, hey, when are you going to make good on your dividend? It's not my job to make good on a dividend. We gave you the dividend. It was free stock. But here's where the problem lies. You have to understand the securities laws are written by attorneys, okay? And their goal is that they want the money for these opinion letters. I am not allowed to write a blanket opinion, which if I could, I would, and will deem every one of those dividends and those thousands of people that got them would allow them to all be free trading. But I'm not allowed to make a blanket opinion. Everyone has to coordinate with their brokerage firm and get their own opinion letter. Now, at one point, our counsel said he would give everybody a discounted rate. If you find a rate, he said he would make a discounted rate and write opinions. I still can get him to do that. But the opinion is something that each and every individual shareholder have to get on their own. I don't have control over that process. We issue Rule 144. It says that the stock is deemed free trading after 1 year. It's supposed to be 2 years without an opinion letter. But I don't know your brokerage firm. I don't know who you broker with. Some brokerage firms automatically do that. Some require that opinion letter. So it's not my obligation to remove the legend off of shares I gave you for free.
Understood. Understood. Okay, so...
And listen, I take a lot of heat about this, and I get probably this question, at least in the last month, I probably get 6-7 emails a day on that same question.
Okay. What's going on with the website?
So, if you look at the website today, you see I took 15 days off this website clock. If you look at it, I took 15 days off of it. Here's the thing. I told you I have multiple companies doing this thing. I'm building right now 4 websites. So, it'll get done. I bought multiple URLs. I bought maybe 8 URLs lately. This is a big undertaking that we intend to do here. And we will get to the website. I put splash pages for both firms that are active right now and actively trading. It will get done. I'm giving myself room, but if you look at the clock, I think I moved it down from 45 days to 30 days, and there's 4 websites under construction, and you guys can live with a splash page. Come on now, until it's done.
So it looks like everything's moving forward. Looks like we're going to be current really soon.
I moved up a whole, a month ahead of time. I took a lot of, I've taken a lot of calls. And listen, I do. If some people will probably tell you, I do answer the phone. I'm not taking all the calls and just get bombarded with calls, and I'd be selective because it's an impossibility to do everything that I'm doing, navigate, 2 public companies and answer all these phone calls. It becomes very difficult. But in the grand scheme of it all, it's going to be phenomenal. We do have the other firm, which is symbol as BMCS, Biotech Medics. We're doing a whole name change and a whole, business model change as well. So ultimately, we will coordinate these 2, and they will have some connection between them, as well as the third, which, and they will somehow have a different model that everybody will probably be extremely happy with the direction we're heading.
Sounds like everything's going in the right direction, Tony. Appreciate you taking the time to, now I can post this, and people that had questions can now just listen to this, and you were pretty straightforward, so I appreciate everything.
All right.
All right.
You have a great weekend, a great holiday weekend, so I'll talk soon, man.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.